So then we are back with more understandings from discipleship. There are lots of areas in the renewed covenant where people can be encouraged, and most importantly, coming together in a place where then the Hebrew brothers are encouraged. This is the utmost importance of encouragement of the Hebrew brothers to come together either in a depot or in a nice place where they can come together and begin to share. Felt so strongly in my spirit the desire of sharing this area of having people coming together for prayer, coming together for reading, coming together for debating, coming together as then the Sanhedrin was back then. There is such a desire of coming together for understandings and debates and lots of understandings of the renewed covenant and then being evaluated. It is so important these days for then the Hebrew brothers to be encouraged. There is a section in 2 Timothy where then Shaul, he was then fathering in the spirit Timothy. So there is a very interesting understanding, because then in the 4th verse it says, myself then desire to be with you, to remind yourselves then of the tears that myself have with joy, but then the genuine faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and also myself persuaded in you, and myself then remind you that then the faith, the anointing of Elohim that is in you by the placing of the hands. So then, since he is then going to be amongst then the Gentiles, he has to have a measure of faith because he's outside of the camp. So then we begin to understand this part of he himself then receiving an anointing from then the elders of the church. Because then the word then gift has nothing to do with it, but has to do with faith and also anointing. Then in this case, if a person then begins to understand this area as himself, as Timothy, as a person, he obviously had an anointing upon his life, placed upon by the prayer of the elders. Plus he had the understanding from the grandmother Lois and then the mother Eunice. So they were constantly indicating him to be obedient and to exercise what he had. In terms of being Timothy sent to the Gentiles, then we understand that he has to have also a portion of faith. So then we can encourage then the Hebrew brothers to come together for prayer, come together for reading, come together then for evaluation. It's extremely important having the understanding of the discipleship. And then being up front, being at the pulpit, and then in a spirit of being humble, sharing the words, sharing the scriptures, sharing the renewed covenant, sharing at times sections of the Torah, and encouraging each other. And the discipleship is the utmost importance. Observe what Shaul then began to do with Timothy. He was his friend in the faith. But then it takes from the time that then Shaul began to remind him, he was encouraging him in the faith to get started. People must take an initiative. It is very uncomfortable at first. Lots of fears, lots of rejection comes to mind and then sometimes can grip the person. But then we must overcome these areas, and then we should force ourselves beyond what we observe with the natural eyes and begin to act in faith. If we do this, then we rent a place, and then we are together, we are in prayer, we are inviting the Hebrew brothers, we are encouraging them, we are visiting with them, we are then in the midst of areas where there are lots of Hebrew brothers. Sometimes a lot of them without direction, inviting them. Let's come together. Let's read the Torah. Yahweh has promised this to us. We are living in a time of Nehemiah. There is a huge desire of the refurbishment of the church and then the perfection of the church, what was given to us from the time of Moses, and encouraging each other and coming together for prayer. What are you doing today? No, I'm going to do this. No, let's come together for prayer. Let's go over there. Let's say that this time is an area that we spend this time together. This is our temple. Let's then go back to the old ways when the temple was built, coming together before the gathering, coming together before them, being evaluated, understanding the scriptures, coming together for prayer. It takes initiative in our part, and sometimes it's very uncomfortable. People sometimes they think, oh, they are laughing at, and then so on and so forth. Leave those people behind. Let's begin to believe as Nehemiah believed. And Nehemiah was bold. He was the cupbearer of then the king, and he showed up with a sad face. But he trusted in his Yahweh. That it was the time of refurbishment. And we understand it is a time of encouragement of each other. And then some people, when they visit, they have this sad countenance that they are cast away. No, they are not cast away. Invite them to come together for prayer. There are promises from Abraham, promises then given through Moshe, promises given through Yahshua, Yeshua, promises given through Shaliach Shaul, Shimon, and so on and so forth. We must believe in those areas, and then we must win over our own fears and encourage each other with these words. It wasn't comfortable for Shaliach Shaul every time coming to people and encouraging them. It was very exhausting. But he was in the spirit. He had to take initiative. He had to be the person of be poking around people. Let's come together then and do it. We must do it. We must do it. We must encourage each other. And it was an order from Shaliach Shaul. And he said that encourage each other with these words. Encourage each other. Has to have initiative from the person to encourage your brother. And there are so many Hebrew brothers that sometimes they don't observe the Shabbat anymore. They don't read the Torah anymore. They don't read the renewed covenant anymore. They are very despondent. These areas must be reversed at any cost. We must either rent a house or rent a depot, or then be in the backyard somewhere, or then in the park, and start reading. You start sharing with each other and encouraging each other with those words already given. We have already the scriptures. We must understand how to encourage each other. And there is Shaul encouraging Timothy. He's saying, Timothy, remind yourself that you have an anointing. Don't be shy when you are in the midst of those people. You must do your ministry. You were then set apart for this reason, to be also part of the ministry. But then you have to step out also and then pray.